It's another Acoustic Alternatives podcast at Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, Michigan, home of the podcast for, as of today, 5 years. This is the 5th anniversary of my first recording, which was with Chris DuPont. The Grove Studios folks said, we would really love for you to do a podcast in our studios. And I was very reluctant at the time, having just recently lost my job in radio. And I thought, well, fine. My friend Chris DuPont has a new record coming out. Sure, let's do something. And it filled this big hole I didn't know I had. And now 5 years later and 90-some podcasts later, I'm still doing what I'm trying to do is expose people to music that I've heard and want people to know more about. Or occasionally I get to have some larger artists that are already well established, like a Glenn Phillips from Toad the Wet Sprocket or a Brian Van Der Ark from Verve Pipe, or a Jeff Daniels, the actor who also happens to be a singer. So it's just been an adventure in exploring music that I already either love or am discovering. And the story with my artist today is I had no idea I was going to be having you in today because when I went to see you, I was more checking out the venue than you. I didn't know you at all, Kora. It was sort of I've heard a lot of good things about this venue. I should go check it out. And there you were. As a rare occasion happens, I go see somebody I don't know. Sometimes it happens with an opening act where you go, wow, they were really good. But, you were the artist, period. That was it. And knowing nothing about you, you sang a song. I came with my friend who also wanted to check out the venue. And we're both wiping away tears in a song we've never heard before. That just doesn't happen a lot for me or her, for that matter. And I said to myself, I must know more about this artist. And so I approached you after the show and said, you don't know me, but you might want to.
Yeah.
I handed you my card and tried to explain that I'm here to help. I'm here to make sure that people hear music like yours. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to let people hear your story and some of your tunes. And Kora Feder, welcome to Acoustic Alternatives. Welcome to Grove Studios.
Thanks for having me. Congrats on 500 shows. That's really
5 years.
Sorry. 5 years of shows.
Almost 100 shows.
Almost 100 shows.
Yeah.
Do you want me to? Okay. That's
something
really
along
cool.
that line.
Yeah.
So
I knew there was a 5.
There is. I think before we get chatting, since I just kind of opened the door for the song, maybe we should just go through that door and play the drug that got me hooked on you.
Yeah, I think the song that you're referring to is called Automatic Times. There are children in hallways, blood on the floor. Adults in power are closing the doors. There are crowds in Washington screaming for more. And if you can't hear them, then what are you fighting for? 8 in Miami, 8 in Louisville, 8 in San Francisco, and no word from the Hill. 'Cause mass murder headlines are like photos on your hearth, totally normal, like headlights in the dark. Send those prayers, hope you're not the next to die. We're just living in America in these automatic times. In other places, 50 dead is not an average front page. It happened once in New Zealand and the government made a change. But America, the beautiful, the brave and the best, America, you are bleeding, darling. Don't forget your bulletproof vest. 17 in Parkland, 9 in Jacksonville, 58 in Las Vegas, and no word from the Hill. 'Cause mass murder headlines are like photos on your hearth, totally normal, like headlights in the dark. Send those prayers, hope you're not the next to die. We're just living in America in these automatic times. So all I'm asking for is a place where people feel free. And war weapons on the street just doesn't feel like freedom to me, but especially for the fallen who have died for the color of their skin. America, look in the mirror, when will that freedom kick in? Wendell in New Orleans, Tony in Madison, Martin in Memphis. How many names have there been? 'Cause gun violence headlines are like photos on your hearth. Totally normal, like headlights in the dark. Send those prayers, hope you're not the next to die. We're just living in America. We're just living in America. We're just living in America in these automatic times. We keep living in America. We keep living in America. We keep living in America in these automatic times.
Kora Feder is my guest on Acoustic Alternatives, ripping your heart out with a song that I wish you hadn't needed to write that. And I'm sure you probably wish you hadn't needed to write that either. Yeah. That is from the album In Sevens, which just told the story of how I discovered you. That night I bought all 3 CDs and put them in my car and listened to them in chronological order. And when I got to that song again, I cried again. Like, damn it. That's a powerful song. And that's why we make music, right? We want to reach people. We want to share our feelings, and we want to get stuff out. And man, you nailed it. It's an untouchable song.
Thank you so much.
I know you got a pretty good response to it initially.
My favorite shows are ones where I end up crying, whether it's about something political or personal or just like, the universe. And so when I can do that for people, I feel like I've done something.
You've done something
right. So.
Unfortunately, this is not a new topic. As I remembered, I was programming one of my radio shows one week, and gun violence was on my mind, probably because of your song and something that happened that week in the news. And I remembered a song from the early 80s that you probably don't know, by the Boomtown Rats, called I Don't Like Mondays, which was written about a student who brought a gun to school in the late 70s, and they asked her why she did it, and she said, I don't like Mondays. And they wrote a song about it, had a big hit with it. And so this is, this has been going on a while.
Yep. Definitely not new.
No, sad. But anyway, we're not here to be sad. I'm just trying to convey the power of Kora's songwriting. I enjoyed that album, but when I got to the newest album, Some Kind of Truth, I was like, all right now, this is a great record. So we're going to get to this eventually, but first I want to go back a little bit. You are from everywhere, it feels like. You have been in more cities than I have, I think, in your lifetime. I wouldn't doubt that because you're a touring musician, but just even places you've lived. So let's review. Where have you been?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Davis, California.
Okay.
College town near Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
For those Michiganders listening who don't know about California geography.
Well, this is on the internet, so everyone can hear this.
That's true. It's true. Grew up there. I got a global studies degree where I lived abroad for most of my education.
Thailand, right?
I was in Thailand for a semester. I was also in China and Taiwan and India and Italy and Bosnia and Herzegovina and other places too. But yeah, Thailand was one of the bigger stops. I was there for about 6 months and was doing a lot of songwriting work there. And then I lived in New York City for about 3 years in Brooklyn. And then I moved to Philly for a year. And then COVID happened. And my partner and I decided, let's not live in this city where we have almost no friends during a global pandemic. Let's go find family and places we can be outside. So we moved to California, to the Bay Area, to be near my family and friends and grandparents who were all nearing the end of their lives, and just so happened to have a free garage apartment that we,
free's good.
Great deal in the Bay Area. Amazing deal. So we took that on and lived in California for a couple years, and then moved to Detroit in 2022, and here I am.
And what brought you to the Metro Detroit area? Is there an impetus?
Yeah, my partner's from the area, and then my family is originally from Cincinnati, and one started by family, and they have a little summer cottage on St. Joseph Island up in Ontario on the North Channel of Lake Huron.
Nice.
So I've grown up coming to this region my whole life and have always loved it, and just consider this whole area to be really magical, the whole Great Lakes region. And so I was happy to come try out Detroit, and my partner and I just, heard a lot of good things and figured, why not give it a try? And now we're super hooked, and we're really excited to be here. Yeah.
So you might stay.
That's the current plan. I feel like I can't say that because I have lived so many places, but that's yes.
You like it enough to stay for now.
We definitely love it here.
Well, we're glad to have you as part of the Michigan music scene. I'm not sure how entrenched you are. I know our mutual friend Mike Ward tried to introduce us, even though we'd already met. Yeah. So I'm not sure how many other musicians you've connected with in the scene.
Yeah, I'm just starting to kind of dip my feet in. Mike Ward has been really great introducing me to folks. I just played the Sisters Folk Festival out in Oregon, and you would think I wouldn't meet Michiganders there, but actually Seth Bernard was there, and the Rebel Eves were there.
Yeah. They were standing right here a couple of years ago, right in those same spots.
Yeah, so I'm slowly, just by being a musician in the world and saying the words Michigan, meeting Michigan music people, which I love. I love how much people here love the state.
It's a very supportive scene, too.
Yeah, it seems like a really cool scene, and I've been going up to Bliss Fest for a couple years now, just as a camper and a volunteer, because I love those kind of music festival camping scenes, so I'm getting to know that world a little bit, too, and yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank you.
So your formative years when you were being influenced by things around you, were those California years then?
Yeah, I mean, those were childhood formative years, for sure, yeah. And my parents are both musicians in that California and just world music scene, but they're definitely household names in the Northern California folk world. Yes,
back when this Acoustic Alternatives was a radio show in Dearborn, I was aware of your mother's music as well, but cool. When I saw you, I had no idea. It wouldn't make any difference. I was impressed by you, so it really doesn't matter that you have lineage that is impressive. To me, it's cool, but it makes no difference to how much I enjoy your music, so you did it on your own in my eyes, right? How much really do you think growing up the daughter of musicians influenced your decision to become one? Is there there was no other path for you, really?
I don't know. It's hard to say. I kind of feel like I'm not a very extroverted, put me on a stage kind of person. So I do kind of think that them putting instruments in my lap my whole life probably did push me into this direction. Although they were never saying you must be a musician, but just seeing them process their life through songwriting and music, and seeing that music be such a joyful part of their existence, I think just, subconsciously made me think that's what you do if you want to process something or tell something to the world or do something that's fun or find a way to travel. Like a lot of the travel that I did as a kid was with them on little tours, and I love doing that. So it's hard to separate for me my upbringing from music.
Because you were around stages anyway.
Yeah.
It seemed like it was natural. I saw some videos actually that people have posted, or they're either professionally shot with you singing with your mother.
Oh, yeah.
Very nice. I mean, it's just nice.
Yeah, we had fun singing together. We still do sometimes, and it's always an honor to be asked on her records and to co-write and those kind of things too.
Is she still busily putting out records these days?
Yeah.
Since I don't work for a folk radio station anymore, I'm kind of doing, jazz and what have you. I kind of lost track.
Yeah, she actually just got a grant from the state of California to write a really cool record about climate change that you should check out. And actually it's made for radio, so it's very cool. Well,
since we haven't mentioned her name, Rita Hosking is the mother we're speaking of. Not my mother, she's her mother. That's fortunate for you and fortunate for me that you had that upbringing, because that brings these songs into the world with that. Was there another choice ever? Did you ever think about anything else?
Yeah, I mean, you can't really these days be a middle-class musician and not do other things. So I do graphic design work. I've had a million jobs, in nonprofit world, in babysitting, and, so, but I've always wanted music to be one of the mainstreams in my life. So that's never been a question of, am I going to not write songs? It's just, am I going to
make a living at it?
Make a living out, yeah. Or am I going to, how often am I going to do this kind of thing is the question more. But no, I think of myself as a whole person, and music is one slice of the pie, and I wouldn't describe myself as first and foremost, like, I am a musician. Like, I am Kora, and music is one of the things that I love to do, and one of the ways that I process, and I love being on stages and sharing stories and working with people on music. But I also love a lot of other things, and I like that about myself too, so.
So if I'd randomly met you in an elevator and struck up a conversation, which would be weird for me too, because that's not really something I would do, I'd say, what do you do? And you'd say, I'm a musician, or I'm a graphic designer.
I do a ton of things.
Okay, so it's a very, very well-rounded individual then, if this is a good thing. Only child?
I have a little sister.
A little sister. Is she about this big?
Yeah, she's she's actually taller than me, which is horrible news for me. But
what path did she choose?
She's figuring it out.
Okay.
She's a really amazing visual artist and has done some music stuff too, and yeah, she's kind of making her own path.
Well, one of the things that I do when I'm preparing for these interviews, especially when I don't know that much about somebody, and really I've only seen you live once, and we've only met that one time, is I'll look for other interviews, read other interviews, so I can try and do what they haven't done already, and like try and not create the same interview because it's already there. And there've been some great ones, actually, some really nicely like presented interviews with you. And I imagine me trying to figure out how to do that without repeating myself is just like trying to write a song that has not been written before. Do you ever like torture yourself with the whole like, is this a Joni Mitchell song? Oh, this is my song. No.
That's a good question. I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, because I've been doing some songwriting workshopping and like one-on-one songwriting teaching and helping people kind of find their story and figure out what they want to write about, which I really love doing and I want to do more of. And I've been realizing, I think I've always known this, but it's interesting to have to like say it to people, is like your life is unique, even if you think it's the same as every other schmo who's done the things that you've done. And if you're writing about the details and your feelings, it's never going to be the same as somebody else. And it's always worth writing about and worth sharing. So I haven't really had that issue. I also think I think I write very lyric heavy songs that go like deep and tell a specific story. And so I'm never like, has this story been told before? Because I'm always like, no one's ever talked about that specific color of that couch and that plant and that, that town and that place. So I don't have that issue, but I could see how you could think that. Yeah.
Because you don't know. I mean, you can't possibly know every song that's ever written, so you don't know if you're writing a song that's ever written. Of course. But I
think it's all worth writing if it's real and honest and like from a place of feeling.
Therapy anyway, right? Getting it out.
Yep.
I mean, Automatic Times, I'm sure, was therapeutic, just like you were probably just dismayed by all the things you were seeing and going, right.
Yep. All my best songs are ones that were me dealing with things. Yeah.
Well, before we continue with questions, the newest record is called Some Kind of Truth, an excellent release. Would you like to do one from this record? Did you have something else in mind?
Yeah, sure. I'll do one from there. Since we're talking about my youth, I will do
your best friend song?
My youth song. What?
Your best friend song? No.
Yes, yeah. One of my best friends. So I wrote this as I was thinking about going back to Davis, California for my 10-year 8th grade reunion, which I know not many people are, pumped to go back for or even have to go back for. But I was not a fan of high school, would never have gone back for my high school reunions, but I loved my K through 8 class. And so that was important to me. And this is just about a friendship from that class that has stood the test of time and just kind of how special those childhood relationships that stick through adulthood can be. It's called Elementary Queen. All the corner shops have changed, but the sidewalks are the same. The creek still has little will to flow. The field's still lined with trees, but the mailboxes are green now. And I guess this all means we're getting old, but I'm gonna be there. queen in all our eyes. You were the sun's purest glow. Married under the slide, I was so proud to call you mine. Now I guess we're divorced and alone, but I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. New religions in the schoolyard. Other kids, they fell so hard for our holy popcorn kernel in the sky. Teacher had to split us up. Civil War, and she'd had enough. Cheek to cheek grinning, we said our fake goodbyes. But I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. And on Tuesdays, our play day Tuesdays, I say a toast to all the reasons I love you. All the people you kissed, all the parties I missed, and all the futures we somehow foretold. And when we both are home together, we will roam in any weather to jump the fence line again before we're old. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there. When you're walking down the aisle, I'm gonna be there. When you're watching your kids smile, I'm gonna be there. When you're sad for a while, I'm gonna be there.
Kora Feder is my guest on Acoustic Alternatives. That is a track called Elementary Queen from her newest album, Some Kind of Truth, that came out earlier this year. And hopefully, if I'm doing my job correctly, you are discovering a new artist and going, John, you were right when you saw her live. I'm very glad that you brought her aboard. I wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for Grove Studios, though, so I have to thank them again for making this the home of the podcast for the 5 years, today being the 50th anniversary of the recording date here. They were so instrumental in this continuing, and the fact that you and I are spending any time together outside of that one time we met is because Grove has this awesome space, grovestudios.space if you want to check it out yourself, but there are multiple rooms in here. So Kora, for some reason, maybe you have a band show and you need some place to practice because your apartment or wherever you guys live in Detroit is too small. Guess what? You could rent this room or the one across the hall that's half the size, or the two other ones down the hall that are different sizes. It's got everything. And if you wanted to be here at 2 a.m, it's a 24/7 operation. Like, it's cheaper, and maybe that's when your band can get together.
And there are couches and comfortable chairs.
A drum and a keyboard, and I'll show you the rest if you're interested later. But grovestudios.space if you want to check it out yourself. And again, I'm so grateful to them for making this a spot for me to be able to do this thing, so that I can do more exploring of artists. And I've got you today, and then in the month of October I've got 3 other ones, which is I'm kind of overloading myself.
Nice.
Scheduled to come in the next few weeks are somebody that really is kind of the beginnings of my love of folk music. David Wilcox will be here in a couple of weeks.
He's great. Yeah.
Yep. Michigan artist Jen Siggett, who is another one of those. I saw her do one song on stage at the Arc, and I was like, I need to know who that is.
Cool.
Yeah, and so she's actually going to be recording. And then a jazz artist, which I haven't done yet, a stand-up bass friend will be joining her, but Olivia Van Gore, who I think has the it factor. So if you go see somebody and you go, ooh, what are they doing in my scene? They should be national. That's Olivia. So I'm looking forward to all 3 of those. Yeah, so I'm glad to have you here, though, so we can get to know each other a little bit better. You can tell me more about your stories. And I'm glad you played that one, because I actually wrote a question about that song, in a sense, because it's a song about deep, long-lasting friendships. And I don't know, in your younger than me years, if you've noticed this or if you've discussed this with your partner, but it's harder for guys to have that. I've got a lot of friends, people I've known for decades in my life, but the friendship that you just described, as hard as I try, I don't have that. It's harder for gentlemen. Have you noticed that in your life?
Yeah. I think female friendships are something else. I mean, I don't think that's a rule. I think there are many exceptions, but it is a like society like doesn't celebrate male friendships enough, I think, and I think maybe it's not prioritized just from a, like, here's what you should do, son. It's like, not like, go out and make some good friends. It's like,
I mean, it happens.
Go out and
you
look
see
tough, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like, we need to, like, maybe celebrate friendships more for everyone, no matter your gender. But that's interesting, yeah. And I'm
just
sure that you have people who you are, you know, super close, and maybe you could reach out to more and get to that level, whatever that level is that you're thinking.
Many of them, though, are female, because females, I find, are better at being long-lasting friends. So I kind of gravitate to my...
Maybe you got to kind of bully some of those dudes into it.
I mean, I don't call people bro, and that's just not who I am, right? I'm just a normal, you know, whatever person. So I don't know, just an observation, maybe even the topic of a future song. I don't know.
A couple of my best friends are men, though, too. So I would say it's not, doesn't need to be all female friendships.
No.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a little sidebar that was a little
that's
farther down on my question list, but now I'll go back up, because we were kind of I try to do chronological questioning.
It's a good thing to acknowledge, and then, you know, have people, listeners, think about in their own lives too, and maybe call their friends.
100%, because if you're the only person calling your friends, then it gets kind of depressing when you realize it's a one-way street. It's not really a very fun one-way street. So,
totally.
Anyway, so backing up to your story, I found that your travels to Asia were rather interesting. There was a PBS special. Can you tell me more about that?
Oh yeah. Well, so I was sort of like an intern, brief staff member for this nonprofit in Thailand called Gabfi that goes into Indigenous and migrant youth communities and teaches theater workshops. And then I was doing songwriting workshops with them. And we had done 6 or 7 workshops, and they got an opportunity to talk about their work on Thai PBS. And this is like the PBS headquarters in Bangkok with, you know, like security gated, massive complex in Bangkok's with all the big fancy studios. It was like the closest I've ever been to, you know, like live TV, fancy Hollywood situation, even though I'm from California.
Yeah.
And so they decided, since we had written some songs about these kids' experiences, those would be good things to have for the show. So I got to go with them, and we brought some of the students we'd worked with, and they got to sing their songs that they'd written. And it was really, really cool, powerful experience that, I wish was on the internet somewhere. I really don't know how to
I couldn't find it.
I should do some digging, but I have lots of behind the scenes footage, but not the actual PBS stream. But it was there, and it was on TV, and it was on radio, and I was just really happy that these kids got to tell their stories too.
I can acknowledge that I had no idea that Thailand had PBS. I just thought PBS was an American thing.
I didn't know either until I was there. Yeah.
Well, it's actually in our conversation the second time you've mentioned teaching. And was that something that you, as a child, like, I want to be a teacher when I grow up? Is that ever a thing?
I think maybe it was one of many things I thought I wanted to be, but yeah, I've been really getting into teaching, especially one-on-one. I mean, I liked doing workshops too. I did workshops in Thailand, as I mentioned, and then I actually just did a Sisters Folk Festival Song Academy teaching and did a workshop there on near rhymes, which was really fun to kind of get the group working together. But I have a couple students who I see regularly one-on-one and do songwriting work with, and then I do like one-offs pretty often. So, and I'm trying to make that more of my life. So if anyone's interested in just talking about their songs with me, no judgment. Doesn't have to be like a big critique session, or you don't have to write anything. We could just talk about your work. I'm super interested in that. Yeah.
Website?
Yeah, KoraFeder.com, KoraFeder.com. I've got a page on that.
Yeah, don't add the extra E, because otherwise it's not you.
Yeah, it looks like Feder, but it is Feder. Yeah.
It's tricky. First record came out in 2017, and so in the last 8 years, you've done some touring, mostly California and Michigan, or has there been a lot in between that I'm...
Well, when I lived in New York, it was some of the up and down the East Coast a little bit too. But yeah, mostly California and Midwest to New York pipeline.
Where have you found the best audiences for you?
I keep bringing it up, but I was just in Sisters, Oregon, and the Sisters Folk Festival audiences were insanely perfect, like just edge of their seats, ready to cry, super quiet and engaged, and that's kind of the dream. But in general, I'm always interested in house concerts. People who have little series and they get all their friends together, and their friends have never heard of you or probably never even listened to this kind of music, and they're just super down to be in that space with you and listen. And those are some of my favorite shows I've ever played, or house concerts.
Great way to connect with people because it's a captive audience. For one thing, they're not there to have a drink and talk. They're there to actually witness.
They're there to listen, and they're like they're with their friends. They're like, they have their guard down, they're super open to being vulnerable. And yeah, it can be really, really fun. I'm sure there's some good ones around too. I've been trying to figure out the Michigan house concert
Well,
scene.
Mike Ward has one sometimes.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
Sorry, Mike. We're reporting you on now, buddy. I know you're probably listening. He has been a big supporter of this whole thing since it's been started 5 years ago. He's been great. So I'm glad for his friendship as well. As I was watching and listening to some of those other interviews, it seemed like they were pretty spread out across the countries, which to me meant, okay, just because it's taken me 8 years to hear of you, which is sad, other people are hearing you. So how are they discovering you? Or like, did you have like a radio thing for your first record? Did you send the record out to radio or?
Yeah, I mean, I have done radio. The In7's my second, kind of first full length record, second release in 2019, was on folk radio charts for a few months, and I did send it out to everyone with the help of a radio expert, Sue Dumont. But yeah, I mean, before COVID, I was much more active in like going to contests and festivals and like really putting myself out there and playing more shows. And I'm kind of just now with this new record getting back in the groove of getting out there and going to things and finding interviews and sending my record out. But yeah, I was lucky to be part of the whole like Kerrville scene just before COVID and Telluride and all that. So I think I made a lot of music friends through those kind of places.
That's great.
Yeah.
I also saw that there was a couple of Tiny Desk concert entries. Did they pay attention?
Yeah, NPR has shared both of my entries and given me really nice reviews. And actually, one song that I wrote early in COVID got shared by NPR, and then the Washington Post saw it and shared it as well from the NPR. It was like, one of those snowball things. So, I've had some lucky little video sharing moments like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Now they've taken the show, the concerts, and turned it into a weekly radio show. So if you ever get on the actual series, you might be on the Tiny Desk radio show too, which is nationally syndicated on NPR stations. So
that's right. They just, because Bob Boylan left, right, and they're like kind of adjusting their methods.
You should make it a goal to get, since you've already gotten their attention, like, can I be on the show? Can I like perform?
I've sent them emails, but I'll continue to do that.
You can tell them I said it's okay. They don't know who I am. Although I did interview the host for my day job when they were launching the radio show. So I did. He has met me. Drawing a blank on his name right now because
Bob, the original, or
the new guy.
Okay, cool.
Yes. I've had a lot of headaches this week, so my ability to concentrate is not very good. So I apologize for that. Newest album from Kora Feder is called Some Kind of Truth. If you listen closely, you will definitely pick up on, we just mentioned the word pandemic. There's a lot of, that's what was happening when you were writing this record.
Yeah.
So it's pretty pandemic inspired, not completely that.
No, it's kind of the last 5 years, which includes definitely some pandemic, but not all. Do you want to hear a pandemic song?
Okay.
Speaking of it.
Sure. What's it going to be?
I'll do the one that I was just mentioning that I submitted to Tiny Desk and then got some nice attention in 2020. It's called In a Young Person's Body, and I'll just shout out to Justin Farron, who produced this last record. It was his idea to try putting this on piano for the record, and I love how it turned out, so I definitely encourage people to listen to that version too. But this is the original guitar version of In a Young Person's Body. We lost Brian yesterday and I cried in my drink. Now I've got tears in my whiskey, I've got dishes in my sink. Cases are rising, goodbyes are shooting up fast. I've got no degree in science, not even a working mask. And the neighbor's dog is howling, hasn't left in a week. I think she speaks for all of us. It's getting harder to sleep, and I'm hearing from friends I haven't spoken to in years. How do you catch up with someone when you're both close to tears? I looked in the mirror, and all I could see was a worried old woman in a young person's body. Out on my tiny city deck, I pretend that I'm free. My quiet neighbor opens his window and starts to scream. Same damn shirt like Steve Jobs, no bra for days. Make coffee, close my eyes, I'm in a crowded cafe. I will not call my ex or Google what's in the air. But if we're being honest, I am already there. 'Cause our heroes are helpless and our leaders tell lies. Sometimes I wake up in the morning thinking everything's alright, but I look in the mirror and all I can see is a worried old woman in a young person's body. I look in the mirror and all I can see is a worried old woman looking back at me. What about the streets of Beijing and the people who live there? What about the taco man who I met at the fair? Or the artists in New York who serve drinks for a living? What if after all of this there's no place where they fit in? And what about my grandpa? He just turned 94. He's seen it all, but I want him to see more. And what if the glaciers release new diseases and the new generations have nothing good to believe in? I looked in the mirror and all I could see was a worried old woman in a young person's body. I looked in the mirror and all I could see was a worried old woman. She's looking back at me.
Kora Feder is my guest on Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti. That's the song you can find on the newest record, Some Kind of Truth. Kora, now a Michigan-based artist, though she's been many places before. We're glad to have her as part of our scene. Maybe she can get one of these shirts someday.
Yeah, I love that.
I'll tell you more about it later. So like I was saying, that album is pretty pandemic-oriented. What have you been writing about these days? What's inspiring you?
I'm always just writing about stuff that I'm reading about or experiencing. I've had, like I mentioned earlier, when I moved to California, it was partly because a lot of my grandparents were nearing the end of their life, and now a lot of them have passed on in the last few years, and so I've got a lot of grandparents dying songs. And
this is something people can relate to, though.
It is, unfortunately, another thing that everyone or most people experience. So that's been a big theme, and just like processing death and grief. And yeah, I don't know. There's like so much happening in the world. It's such a dumpster fire. It's like would be like I'm definitely sort of processing and writing about it, but it's also so much that it's hard to find the things that I want to deeply process and write about. So I've been leaning more into my own life than I have been into the world, which is kind of unusual for me, but I'm sure it will start happening at some point, and I'll just start spitting political things. But, maybe it won't. I don't know. I'm just trying to let what happens happen. I
don't remember the name of the song that I stumbled into when I was finding old videos of you, but there was a very, very pointed political one. I'm like, that was good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see that being an obvious inspiration for the kind of thing that you do.
It's hard not to have it in your brain, which makes it into something that you end up writing about if you're that kind of person. So.
And you're saying processing your grandparents' loss, people my age, because I'm a bit older than you, most of our friends are talking about how our parents are doing. I got a text today. My dad had emergency surgery today. My dad's in the 5th or 6th year of Alzheimer's, and he's just kind of doing this. And, it's just, that's what we talk about in my age group. So definitely when you write songs that people can relate to and pulls at their heartstrings, whether it's written for them or not, sometimes they feel like it is if you write it well, right? So it's a good way to go. Do you feel like you have another plan to record soon, or are you the kind of person that takes a while to put together a full record?
I'm a pretty slow writer, and I don't push myself to finish songs quickly. And same thing with making a record. Yeah, I don't have any.
This one's still new.
Plans. This came out this year, so I don't feel any big rush. But I do think we have a newish microphone and some stuff. I'm thinking about how I can do some home recordings, and maybe do a super pared back thing as my next release. But I have no actual plans of what that looks like other than the vague ideas. So
are you not prolific enough to do something like a Patreon page where you can offer, because it's a really good source of income for some people. Not for me. I'm getting $19 a month, which is not much, but
no, I've thought about it. I've set one up partly and then been I don't know if I want to commit to this or what I would really be offering. But
same.
Yeah. I follow some great ones, and I think it is a really cool model for some people, and I could see myself, if I have more time, getting into it maybe at some point. I did a big fundraising thing for one of my records. It was all crowdfunded, and that felt very aligned with that, of just talking to the people on the internet all the time and asking for things. And it's not my natural state, but I can find ways for it to be centered on connection. And, I think I could see myself doing that at some point. Like
you said, you're a little bit more introverted. You mentioned that at the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't feel natural to be look at me, listen to me, buy me. But I know that's part of being an artist, so I've come to terms with it for the most part.
Yeah, social media to me is my marketing plan. I don't share a lot of personal stuff on there. Most of it's hey, I got a new podcast. It's Kora Feder. You want to check it out? And then, maybe, I got my new weekly playlist is, I'm on the radio this week. Oh, I'm on the radio today.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. But then people like the personal stuff, and I like the personal stuff. If I'm following artists, I want to see their garden and their kid and the thing they made for dinner, more than I want to see them talking about the second version of the 4th release of the 5th record. So it's gotta find that balance. But yeah,
if I post a picture of my dad's dog and then have a message with it, it gets a lot more likes.
Exactly. All the stuff that you're saying is important to release, but you have to find
a balance.
Find a picture to go with it that is
of course.
Not. Yeah. Of
course.
It's a struggle. Yeah.
All right. So the album's been out for a while. Did you do a radio promotion with this one, or did you just kind of? Okay.
Yeah.
Did it chart as well?
It did chart. I forget the exact numbers, but it was up there, and some of the songs were up there, and I was up there as an artist. But I haven't been looking at the numbers. But
touring around it at all, or just kind of staying close to home?
Just some little tours. I went out to California in the spring and played 4 or 5 shows, some with Justin, who produced it. He's a great singer-songwriter, so we did co-build some of those, and I did some solo. And then I've been trying to play kind of here and there out here. I'm playing Alpinos in October, and
this will be available at least to hear before that date. The date on that, do you remember? 18th, 19th?
It's October 30th.
30th, okay, so it's far enough away.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So just kind of little touring here and there.
Very good. Well, I hope that people are paying attention. I hope that what I'm doing today does what it's supposed to do, which is get people to go, ooh, I'd never heard of her. I really like what you picked out there, John. Do you feel like doing a 4th song?
Sure.
I don't care what you do. New, old, whatever.
I'll do an old one that I like closing sets with. I feel like it's a good place to leave us. It's called Ballad to Feel. burn me like they do in Varanasi. Yearn for me. Get down on your knees. Need me. Make me feel like water. Show me why we even bother. In the world these days, we don't feel, we just look away. In the world these days, no one knows your name. Mm-mm. Paint me, let the colors fill my eyes. Write me, I want your words to make me cry. Oh, dance me, spin me till I'm out of lungs. Sculpt me, mold me like clay under the sun. In the world these days, we don't feel, we just look away. In the world these days, no one knows your name. Mm-mm. Remind me to look up at the stars. Find me when time has left its scars, and I will choose you in the darkest of times. I will spin you to sleep every night. In the world these days, we will feel, we won't look away. In the world these days, I will know your name. Mm-mm.
Beautiful. It's called Ballad to Feel. You can find that on Marigold's, Kora Feder's debut EP from 2017, and you heard it on Acoustic Alternatives from Grove Studios in Ypsilanti, the home of the podcast for 5 years as of today. And so,
congrats, John. That's
thank
super
you.
Exciting.
Yeah, for me, it's just been an adventure in, let's see, how many ways can I ask questions and make them interesting for people? Do people like it? It's still going. Okay, must be doing okay. So I love talking music. I don't play music. I have no talent to do what you do. Nobody's going to want to hear me sing, trust me. So this is my contribution to make sure that people hear music and discover music, because somebody has to be the voice, right?
Yeah, it's awesome. We need everybody in the music industry, not just musicians.
Right. So I'm trying to play my role, doing the thing I can do, and making sure that people go, yes, I trust John's opinions. I usually like what he likes. So if we've done what I intend to do, you will see an uptick in traffic on your website. KoraFeder.com for the website. GroveStudios.space for the space that I'm doing this in, with my gratitude to them eternally for making this a possibility. Some Kind of Truth is the latest record, and I strongly encourage you, if you liked what you heard today, this is a really, really good record. And
thank you.
I really wish I had more opportunities. I do have the 1 hour show that I do on Sundays, and it fits in there, but I wish I had like the regular radio thing to play that on, because that would be reaching more people. Internet radio is cool, but like FM radio in your car is a little bit different.
Well, any listening is great, and I'm really proud of this record and excited for more people to hear it.
That sidebar question, what did you listen to on the way here? What is your music right now?
I've been listening to the new Taylor Swift record because it came out on Friday.
I've heard it.
I have been a Swiftie my whole life, so people get down on me about this because I also love Bob and Joni and all those people, but Taylor is a great writer, so I've been digging into the record. That's what I was listening to on the way here.
I bought it. I will admit it. I bought it, and I've been more of a fan recently because the high school radio station in my town plays her a lot, because it's a high school radio station. And I got used to hearing the songs and went, people give her a lot of flack because she's big, but
yeah, because she's popular.
because she's popular, there's not a reason to hate her.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like what she writes about. You can't relate to it. Okay, that's your problem. I mean, I don't necessarily relate to some of it, but I can hear a catchy pop song. I don't care who's singing it. It's a catchy pop song.
She is a great writer. You have to give her that. And she has some really, really amazing plays with lyrics and melodies. And I'm especially a big fan of the Evermore and Folklore eras. But
that's kind of where I started,
I'm
actually.
The pop stuff, too.
Yeah. When those records came out, I felt a little less like, okay, well, this one has Bon Iver on it, so I can buy that. I'm like, these are good records. Huh, okay, maybe I should get the rest of them. So, yeah. So, anyway. Yeah. Thank you for sharing your stories in your songs with me today.
Thank you.
For making the drive out from Detroit.
Super, super happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. As I mentioned during the course of this, more to come this month. If you liked what you heard and you feel like you want to help me out with it, I also mentioned Patreon. I don't have a lot of support there. I'm very grateful for those of you who are supporting me there, but I do this as a labor of love, not as a job. It's not a moneymaker for me. This is a thing that I just want to keep doing. So if you want to support me, johnbomarito.com, look for the Acoustic Alternatives tab, and in there is all the information about all the things I'm doing and how to find me on Patreon. And you should consider one at some point too if you ever find yourself being overly prolific with your songwriting.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll ask you for some tips.
Okay. KoraFeder.com, GroveStudios.com, johnbomarito.com. Thanks again, Kora.
Thank you.